Hello.
Hello! How's it
How are
going?
you folks?
How are the folks?
I'm How are the folks? How are you?
Oh, I'm great. I'm doing great.
I'm so glad to hear it.
How are you doing, Ian?
I'm doing just fine, all things considered.
Well, that's great too. And I'm glad that before you answered, you took time to consider all the things.
I considered every possible angle.
Because some people
Like,
just say they're
cool.
good when someone asks if they're good. They don't take time to weigh all the different things in their lives that could be affecting that answer. And I
Exactly.
appreciate that you took the time
Well,
to
it's why it took,
give me an honest answer.
it adds a little bit of extra time to like the computation engine, but then, you get a more thorough answer. So
Right.
it's really, it's like the level of quality that you're looking for depends. Like some people, they're like, "Hey, how you doing?" And you're there just looking for a fine, and then they want to move on, and that takes very little computing power. But when you consider all things,
For how
that's
often I'm asked how I'm doing in a day, I always answer good automatically.
I always do too,
I feel
because
like I feel like it's kind of rude.
it's
Not
kind of rude.
rude, but it's annoying
Yeah,
to
but
do otherwise.
So like, there's like this common thing I always hear, like when people in like Europe and stuff are just like, "Why do Americans say, you know, how you doing to each other when they don't actually want the answer?" And it's just like, look, I say it's polite to ask somebody how they're doing, but if like every person who came up to the cashier's register was just like, "Well, Derek's thinking about leaving me," and etc. It's like, no, okay, like for the most part, like it's polite. If so, like there's like, I feel like there's like a scale of answers that are all like for complete strangers at least. Like if if you're like talking to your friends and stuff, then it makes more sense to be like that, have them actually
Yes.
tell you how they're feeling. But if it's a complete stranger, it's like a couple of things. You say either "I'm doing good," "I'm all right," which means it could be going better, but all things considered, you're well. Or if you say "I'm surviving," then that means that it's been a rough time, but you're pulling, like, you're here right now, and that's all that matters at the moment. And then they sort of, a random stranger will get a good sense of like how your day is going without having like, and then they can sort of decide like, do I actually want to like fucking hear
Yeah, you're
what
giving
this
them the
person's day
choice of whether they
involves?
want to dig into your drama. Another thing
Yeah, because
is,
like,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
well, I was just gonna say, and if you're talking to a friend, obviously, like it's a whole different sort of dynamic, because generally, a person wants to actually hear how their friend is doing, because
Yeah,
if you're talking to a friend, there's a good chance like you met up, or you arranged the meetup, so like you're gonna be there for a while.
yeah. I
But
also
what were you gonna
think
say?
like at least like in like English, or at least in America, I don't know exactly which it is, but some people will say, "How's it going?" as a greeting. It doesn't necessarily mean they want the answer to that question.
Yeah,
Sometimes it just means hello.
exactly.
And
And but like, it's still, you still, like, words still mean stuff. So like if you ask
right,
somebody how's it going, like even if it's just a greeting, it's like it's a politer greeting, because it is sort of asking a person about their general mental state.
right.
And there's definitely what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a social, there's a, not like
Like
a
a
rhythm
social
to it, I
equation.
forget.
Yeah, rhythm or
Yeah,
something.
there's like there's like a word I'm looking for specifically, and I can't think of it, and I'm gonna think of it like at the end of the episode. um Gosh, etiquette, I think, is the word
Yeah,
maybe that's closest. There's an etiquette to it, I think, that's sort of like lost on a lot of people, because no one ever bothers to explain it. And it's like, it's a fine, it's a fine line to tread, I think. So
now
there you
one
go,
thing I will
folks,
add,
that's the official answer.
one thing I will add is, since we always ask our audience how they're doing, they are an example of very close friends, so we want the honest answer from you guys.
Yeah, tell us how you're doing, guys.
We want to
Leviathan
hear
did send
about.
something in the chat. I don't know what they said yet. I'm gonna look at it once I'm done fucking dealing with these lines that I keep. Like, I decided,
Boy,
like, oh,
this is
these
some beautiful
words have
lines
to be
though.
bolder. You know what? Yeah, and like the rest is fine where it is. Okay, it was just the draw and the bomb that I started making bold. It's good. It's fine.
Beautiful.
What is it? It's beautiful. Leviathan Dunn says, "Hot damn! I started teaching myself Delta Slide blues on guitar." Hot damn. Do you know that song?
I don't. Do you?
No.
Oh, damn. I'm terrible.
We're terrible.
Tell us.
I mean, it says
Leviathan,
Slide
what
Blues.
what is this song?
I'm assuming it's like one of those songs that goes wee 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 on the guitar, you know, like a
yeah, I know
blues
that
song.
one.
Yeah, there you go. We're good. You don't gotta tell us anymore. We got it. We'll Spotify it later or something like that. Yeah, great song.
Ian, how's your week been?
Guys, I'm chilling. I don't know. I decided to take a load off and not worry about some stuff. I mean, I'm working on this commission, and I think I can show it real quick.
This is the one you told me about last?
Yeah, I don't think anyone in the chat can see it quite yet, but I'm finishing up it, and I just gotta take a blender to it, and then I think the colors are done, but whoa. And that's all.
Just gotta put it in Blender.
Yeah, I gotta put it in Blender. So yeah, just gotta finish it up. I have the blending pencil right here, and then once I do that, all the colors are gonna look less colored pencil-y and just a little bit more, you know, colors in general. And then it'll be done, and I can figure out if I want to frame it and send it, or well, you know, I have to contact the client.
Leviathan says it's not a song; it's a technique with a brass tube. Okay, so I actually do know what you're talking about then.
Yeah, the
I've seen that.
Yeah, we've seen that.
It's like in the movie Crossroads. I'm assuming, is that the one starring Britney Spears or a different Crossroads?
Is that the one starring Eric Clapton? And he's like, "Die to the crossroads."
That's a song.
Down on my knees. That song doesn't have any slide guitar in it though. You're crazy,
what a
man.
lie.
What a loon. Oy vey.
Drinking
so
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Oh my goodness, I am
The
flying
beer's so
silver
good
tonight.
that it got a blue ribbon.
Yeah, yep. Which usually is what the color I feel like for the participation trophies.
I think so. Well, no, that's actually first place. Blue.
Oh, is it? Okay. Is it why? Is platinum? What the fuck is that? Platinum. It's like platinum, but it's like
Russia.
black. Yeah, for vampires.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Oh, is blue like sort of the tint of platinum? Like where did like?
I don't think so.
You know,
I think when it comes to
there's
ribbons,
gold,
it doesn't play by the rules
platinum.
of metal rankings.
Oh my god, is it like karate belts? Because that shit is a whole.
They're all different. But I have to say, this can had to be very boring to look at before they won this award. I imagine it's just words.
Oh my god. It was like when Budweiser just started calling their beers America for like a hot second, and it was just like a red can with like a white stripe along it somewhere, and like that was it. And I was like, well, I'll get drunk on you, but this is all just weird.
Leviathan says,
America.
no, it's a fantastic movie with Ralph Macchio and Steve Via and other great actors. So you're saying it's not the one with Britney Spears then?
Isn't Stevia that guy who was in Breaking Bad and he got broke to that lady's coffee and killed her from the inside? Isn't that Stevia?
Stevia is that? Yeah, it's a packet of sugar.
Yeah. Good old Stevia.
Oh, I keep drawing on the wrong layer, but that's alright. As long as it's not the wrong layer at the bottom of the stack.
It's Stevia!
I
don't think does she ever actually say like, I need my stevia at some point in Breaking Bad, because I feel like for some reason that sticks out in my head because it killed her eventually. Spoiler alert for everybody who hasn't seen.
She says she needs her stevia, but
she doesn't say it like that.
She just asks for it when she's at the diner a number of times, like once or twice.
Yeah, which is like that's how you like. Everyone knew what the stevia was gonna come into play when like she asked for it like in multiple episodes. I feel like people were just like looking for all the stuff that was gonna like sort of come together. And I remember I was reading, I think it was Warming Glow, which was like part of the Up Rocks network, which was like Film Drunk and Warming Glow. Like Film Drunk was for movies, and then Warming Glow was for television. And then like the guy in Warming Glow is like, I mean, she asked for her stevia twice already, so I feel like they wouldn't show us that unless something was gonna happen with that. And bada bing, bada boom, that guy was right.
Yeah, I guess it could be like a way to predict what's going to happen, but I also think they're trying to show off that she's a very, like, things have to be a certain way for her type of character.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they
but I
want
mean,
the
it
straight
did.
up, I mean, I guess that's how it makes it easy to kill her, is because, you know, she has her, like, specific rituals and
like, yeah.
she does.
But it's, you know, it's classic foreshadowing.
Spoiler.
Yeah, spoilers for it. But speaking of Breaking Bad, my parents are growing Lady in the Valley, or Lily of the Valley, whichever that plant is.
It's a popular plant.
Yeah, they're growing it right now. And I was like, you guys know, I'm sure it's fine. It's a very pretty plant, but just as a heads up, make sure the dogs don't eat this, because, like, this is what Walter White used to poison that kid. And Breaking Bad. We're spoiling the whole show today. We're just going through it, guys.
It doesn't kill the kid, though.
No, he poisons
Slightly
the kid.
poisons a kid. You know?
Great reveal. When
Just
they
a
zoom in on that tag.
fun way to just somewhat poison a child, not fully poison them.
What a fun season of the show when he poisoned that kid. That was like the best. Those were the best episodes too.
It was actually a really great reveal though, because it's like this really dramatic moment, and you're like, is he capable of such things? And it's kind of like there aren't really any connections, but Jesse seems to be very confident that it was him.
Yeah.
And
he was right.
Like, basically, like, he talks him out of it, like that. He's like, "Hey, come on, man, it's not me." And then he kind of, in effort, talks you, the viewer, out of it too. And you're like, "All right, it wasn't him."
Yeah.
And then when it reveals it, you're like, "You son of a bitch."
You, Walter, you. You're gonna be making kids soup in like a month. It's also funny because, I mean, at some point when Jesse like sort of learns about some of the extent of Walter's deviousness, like in the final episodes when like everything's really going to shit, like the Ozymandias and all that, I think it's funny because he sort of like himself, if I remember correctly, he's like, he definitely poisoned that, what's the kid's name?
Brock.
Yeah, he's like, I feel like he connects it, like, when he's, like, flipping out and he's, like, sort of coming to Hank about everything. Excuse me. I feel like he, like, brings up the Brock thing, and he's like, you poisoned Brock? I don't know if I'm imagining that, but I feel like...
I think he's not supposed to see him. Or he's refusing to see him. I don't remember exactly. I might be getting this wrong. And then that happens, and he, like, busts into his partner and punches him in the face a few times.
Yeah.
And then Walter convinces him that it was his own fault.
Walter's he's quite the dude. He really demonstrated Heisenberg's property of change. Where the fuck the fucking being a dick all of a sudden. I like at the end when like Skylar's like, "Why did you do all this?" It's just kind of like, I had fun with it, and like that's the end. That's the justification for like all of his behavior.
It made me feel
like,
alive
I respect that
for the first time.
And I'm like, you know what? I like that they didn't like trace it back to some like shitty, like they didn't make it like this deep psychological explanation. Like, well, you see, when I was a child, my dad, or like him getting kicked out of gray matter or whatever. He was just kind of like, yeah, it was fun. Fuck it, I killed a bunch of people. It was great. I enjoyed that they kept it simple.
Yeah, he just had a boring life and he felt something, and that was like fueling the dopamine or the like, I don't know, some kind of satisfaction in his head.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, it made my brain feel good. Kill people to see the life drain from their eyes.
I just, I don't really, I like to keep busy, and being a teacher was getting stale, so I decided to kill a bunch of people. It's great.
I would say it all started when I injured that child who made fun of Walt Jr. in that clothing store. Felt really good to break that kid's legs.
My wife was really proud of me, and my brain drew some connections.
We fucked that night. It was dope.
So I thought, hey, we'd probably get her to do some real kinky shit if I kill a bunch of people.
You better believe that when I said I'm the one who knocks, I tried anal that night. No, sorry.
God. Stop
That's
dropping
terrible.
Breaking Bad spoilers. Like the scene where
I'm sorry, yeah, he tries anal. Actually, no,
really
he famously...
bad.
That's famously when... What were you gonna say? Hold on.
I said that's the real scene where he really broke bad.
That barrier?
Yeah.
What a disgusting word for a butt that you just chose. The barrier. Gosh.
You said barrier.
But actually, and after that part, Walter famously doesn't get laid because that's when Skylar just moves the fuck out, which good for her.
He's like,
when somebody says, when some,
like,
sorry, go ahead.
Murderer, kingpins, not my thing. And what a bitch
Yeah,
for doing that, right, guys?
I know all the Skylar hate was so fucked up for that show.
It's like you guys are completely getting disconnected from the shit he's doing because he's the protagonist. It's like, let's think about this from an outside view. If this was your husband or dad or family member, if you found it, like, even if they were doing it for you, you would not feel good about them pulling all that shit.
There was also a good deal of misogyny, I feel like, attached to a lot of the
Sure.
hatred that Skylar received. Like, it was, like, no one hated on Hank, but Hank was constantly trying to kill Walter's buzz, you know?
Right. Very true.
But everyone was like, oh, Hank, he's so fun. He's kind of, like, racist, and, like, he beats up bikers, and et cetera, et cetera. It's like, no, he's a terrible cop. He's, like, he's flagrantly abusing his authority.
I would say...
And he's racist.
Being a cop was, like... I mean, a few times he went over the limit, like... But I would say being a cop was, like, one of the few things he did right. But no, he was, like, obnoxious and, like, racist, and... I guess he abused it occasionally, but that's being a cop.
Did abuse...
How else do you be a cop?
I mean,
that's how the job's set up. You break a bunch of rules and...
Well, there's, like, cop rules that you're technically, like, cops are, you know, supposed to follow, but they don't. Sort of like things that, like...
That's kind of the joke I was going for.
Within... I know, but I felt like, real quick before we start, looking like we're condoning police abuse.
No, it was not.
I know. But yeah, like, all that hate Skylar got was, like, just super, like, first of all, I get it somewhat because the parts of the show where Walter, I mean, I've complained about this before, but the parts of the show where Walter had to, like, hide what he was doing from his family are by far the most frustrating.
Yeah,
like, that's why I enjoy
some of the momentum. And I get I think people are frustrated about that, but it was somehow transforming into, like, misogyny and just, like, hate for a character, but it's like she's reacting the way a person might in this scenario. She's not, like, being unreasonable.
Yeah. Also, like, in the later episodes, she turns into, like, a total badass. Like, she's like working the system, like, she's like the main reason that Walter White gets rich at all, and towards the end of the show is because she's a badass, like, cooking the books for him and like fucking hiring dudes. It's like she completely transforms into, like, this really awesome character.
Yeah, for sure. He doesn't really have the knowledge to actually pull some of the shit off. He's just, like, all action.
Yeah, he's like, I like killing people. That's my favorite part. Also, the cooking the meth. Yes. Are you drawing the larger web, and is that, like...
I feel like it's... I learned this from drawing Spider-Man as a kid, but you do the outer ring, and then you do, like, little lines.
I dig it. I was going to talk Spider-Man actually kind of in relation to the current topic, because I haven't seen Spider-Man Homecoming, and I need to, but I don't have a Disney Plus account, so, like, that's not happening anytime soon. But I have seen Spider-Man Far From Home, and one thing I really enjoyed about that was, even though it was a large amount of, like, Spider-Man hiding his identity, it was more like him hiding his identity from the public at large. But when he came home to, like, Marissa Tomei, like, as his aunt, like, she was just like, yo, what'd you do, Spider-Man? You, like, kick some butt today? And that was, like, nice because I didn't have to... Okay, we gotta get the same page with this web. Here I am.
Just... Here. Hold on.
All right.
I don't want to undo your stuff, but erase that
No,
for
no,
a second. Marissa Tomei, that's a bad example because she was actually the only person they kept in the plot that didn't know until the end of the movie.
Well, in Homecoming, I'm assuming, right? Because in Far From Home,
oh, you saw
she
Far
knows.
From... Oh, I heard him back. Okay, because they both have home
Yeah,
in the title. Got mixed up.
Oh shit, they do, don't they?
And then I think the next one does too, or something. I don't know why that's a continuous.
It's interesting.
I think that's
Homeostasis.
good enough for the web for now.
Yeah, it's fine.
Just keep it simple.
But yeah, like I enjoyed Marissa Tomei and like Happy in that movie, being like aware of the situation because it just made it so much less frustrating. Because like the at least when he was on the field trip and like he was hiding it from his classmates, like that was the momentum. So like that worked fine. Right. But like when the character is like doing all the stuff and then they have to like come home and be like, oh gosh, I was just out playing bingo with my friends. It just becomes so annoying. Like,
I would say that like on that note that you're saying, like the majority of the people he had to interact with knew, which makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah, and
so
like you know, one of my least favorite arcs of Breaking Bad was like the whole fugue state arc because like you know they had this fun thing, they get kidnapped, they go to Mexico, they take down a rival drug dealer with like some crazy shit going on. And then, like, you know, the show is just like, oh, yeah, we have to remember, like, this is kind of also a show about a dad with cancer. So then he, like, does the fugue state excuse, and then we have to watch for, like, 5 episodes while, like, Skylar will just, like, occasionally walk up and be like, really? A fugue state? And he's like, yeah. And then, like, that's, like, 10 minutes out of the episode before they can start doing, like,
she buys
stuff.
it
and it's just,
for a minute.
She does, for a little bit, but she pretty quickly finds out,
I think he mentions his second phone at the hospital and he's all drugged up.
Yeah,
and that's what blows the whole
he's
thing.
morphined out.
No, I liked that part because I like how I know compared to like killing people and shit, it's so fucking small potatoes, but
yeah.
But still, it was I kind of liked that he was like, all right, I have to do this kind of embarrassing thing to cover my ass. Here we go.
Yeah, that's fair. Like he goes naked in the store and stuff.
That's like, who cares? That's so small. Like anyone could do that tomorrow and pretty much get away with it if you lied the same way. It's like not a big deal. But like while he's like actively shooting people and stuff, blowing people up. So yeah. Okay. Yeah. Leviathan Den. Not to change the subject, but they redeemed talk about this, so they changed the subject. Any games catch your attention at E3 so far this year? You don't have to spend hours on this topic for your information.
I did want to talk about the new games and TV shows that have been announced.
Yeah, so there are a few. How about we take turns? Do you got any off the bat?
What if you just list the games you are aware of? Because I haven't actually watched any of the E3. Because
they haven't been showing that much. I don't know, but there's been a number of games, but it hasn't been that like overwhelming. Like
we've discussed definitely a couple that we're intrigued with.
One that I'm excited about, even though I didn't really get super into the original, I did a decent amount, but I would like a new one. Forza Horizon 5, that'll be cool.
I was gonna list.
It looks great. I liked the last one quite a bit, and part of what
I enjoyed
kept me from getting super into it is I just felt like I got into it late. Not that like what other people are doing is super important, but like even compared to you guys, I was just like, everybody's like drifting around corners, and I'm like, whoa, like crashing into a building. Like that's all I do.
You were beating me in a couple of races. I think the main reason that I got really like a lot better at driving in that game was because I mapped out that course that was like a 30-minute long lap that you do twice, and doing that kind of gave me an opportunity. Like you have to drive slow to like map those courses out, so it gave me an opportunity to really feel out the controls with that. So you just had to sit down and really give yourself a chance. But I do feel you on that. Like once you're getting like out raced by the whole gang, it can become kind of tough to sort of have fun with it.
Yeah, that one's cool. But, the new Bethesda EP, like I already knew about that, but they dropped like a little, basically just like a teaser. Nothing really there, but it's just something in general that I'm excited for.
I'm excited. It's going to be the first game that Bethesda has developed since Skyrim, which has been over 10 years. So I'm assuming there's going to be some advancements. They've like published
Fallout 4.
Oh, I guess you're right. Yeah.
And Fallout 76, but that one's basically Fallout 4 with
that was
new coding.
That was ZeniMax. That was ZeniMax. They just published it. They've like all the Doom games they've published.
Made Fallout 4 though.
Yeah, Fallout 4 was decent. Fallout 4. It's also been a while since Fallout 4. I feel like it's been like 7 years since Fallout 4. There's been a lot of advancements in gaming since then. So I'm just
and
kind of
they have a new engine finally for this one. They've been using the same engine
for
the last,
the Lord.
2 decades. It seems like.
Yeah, it's a bad engine.
So that's cool. There's others, but I'm trying to think of what they
What do you think about? But just real quick on the Bethesda thing. I'm just excited for what advancements, because like I'm assuming it's going to be open world as well, right? Like it's going to be.
They said.
So,
I mean, this would not be the first or last time Todd Howard over promises shit, but he's like, we're going. We're going to try to go a little bit heavier on the RPG, like almost back to like the original. Some of our stuff we haven't done in years. He's like, but for all we know,
he's just playing to the Morrowind fanboys like me.
Right,
awesome.
but it's possible that it's true, and who knows? Maybe he's just basically saying like there'll be more like success roles that they basically took out in Fallout 4. And
right.
Like actually have your words mean something, or, change stuff.
That'd be nice.
Bigger ways. That'd be cool. But either way, I'm excited. Even if it was kind of disappointing in some ways, Fallout 4 was fun. I like Fallout and Elder Scrolls. They're both franchises that I have.
Yeah. They're good games. I feel like as the games drifted sort of from Skyrim to Fallout 4, I don't know. I feel like they became more mindless, and like that. I'm fine with a mindless game, but like I could definitely like. Fallout 4 definitely. I could just kind of breeze through and like not really pay the most attention to, and like I would be fine in it, and I wouldn't mind having some more elements that kind of keep me grounded in it, and keep me interested instead of just kind of roaming from building to building, being like, it's full of raiders, let me shoot them.
Yes.
Yeah, it's ghouls, I'll shoot these guys. But I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed that very much so, but I'm hoping that they can give me something that'll feel meatier than the experience of Fallout 4.
Well, this game takes place in space, so there should be lots of meteors.
That's true. Meteor? Talking about the dinosaurs?
Yeah, R.I.P. Return in peace, dinosaurs.
Return in peace, dinosaurs.
Did you see any others? There were others.
I feel like we've discussed others, but they are not coming. Oh, Psychonauts 2 is coming out to Game Pass in August, which is kind of wild to think about. That's one. Because that was a game if you asked me like 5 years ago, I would say they're never gonna make Psychonauts 2. That's bullshit. Because they'd been teasing it ever since Psychonauts 1 came out and didn't make a whole lot of money.
What else?
But everyone loves Psychonauts.
Yeah.
I still need to play it. I have it on my PC.
I should replay the first one. It's been a long time.
I got it on Steam.
Let's see. I want to finish this drawing, but now I'm kind of wanting to double check what else I was thinking of.
I would have watched the but the thing is, like, I know it's gonna, as with many of the past E3s. Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Look up the news after. They're not worth just slogging through because they're just like.
Yeah.
They're so disjointed now. It's not the same as it used to be. Now it's like these different companies come up and they have to try to be like spend an hour just them trying to like show what they're doing in the next coming years, and it's like not everybody has like an hour worth of content to talk about.
Yeah,
and video games take a long time to make. It's fair. Oh, they just announced a new Ace Attorney like an hour ago. That was one I saw.
I need to catch up because there's like a couple of Ace Attorneys they've released since I played the first Apollo Justice, which was a long time ago. But
they announced some DLC for Resident Evil 8, which is cool because I want more. I assume that was coming, but they announced it now. I don't know. There's other stuff. How about people in the chat? Any favorite things you saw? I'm sure there's. In fact, I know there's things I'm forgetting about. But,
let's talk about some of the other games that we know are coming out. how do you feel? We've discussed this before. I actually know how you feel about it, but I'm, you know, just for public opinion purposes, how do you feel about Far Cry 6?
I like Far Cry. I feel like a lot of the games are kind of getting repetitious. Oh, Mercury Tempest subscribed.
Whoa!
5 months. Thank you. Lips in the chat for
5
Mercury
months.
Tempest. Lips in the
Lips
chat.
in the chat. I'll start putting some lips in there for us. Lips, 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 lips.
Thank you, Mercury Tempest.
Thank you so much for your support. That's right.
Mercury Tempest has some opinions on good games that.
That's true. Mercury Tempest has very good opinions on games. I'm in the same boat with Far Cry 6 though. I like Far Cry. I like what the gameplay does, but those games have been the exact same game since Far Cry 3.
Yeah, I want them to do new things. But I like them, so hopefully, hoping for the best.
I think one of the things that's sort of been the downfall of Far Cry is that Far Cry 3 had like Voss, this really interesting villain, who was kind of like, it was lucky that he was interesting because he was, I mean, he's a psychopath, and like that was sort of like the extent of his character. But he like whoever was doing like the guy from Breaking Bad and Mandalorian and stuff, like he did a great job doing the the work as the character that I think people really liked him.
Yeah. I know. That's laughing at too. You probably saw the chat.
Oh shit! Wait, Mercury Tempest.
He said the exact same thing you're saying.
That's hilarious. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. So yeah, so like ever since then they've been like, we gotta have this great villain who's like super interesting and like who has these monologues you have to listen to, and like none of them have been interesting since Voss. Like Pagan Min was kind of cool, but like I feel like even when they have, and like Joseph Seed was cool in Far Cry 5, but yeah, like at times. So like I feel like they have like these good characters occasionally, but like, and I've said this before I think on this show, but like Far Cry 5, like you have Joseph Seed who's like moderately interesting, and then like you have to like deal with his whole family for the entire game. You like deal with him, you deal with Joseph in the beginning, at the very end. And then the rest of the time you're just like, who the fuck is this guy I don't give a shit about? Like, this sucks. Like, let me fucking deal with the main interesting guy. But even then, he's like not interesting enough to carry the game. And I feel like they are kind of relying, especially with like them getting Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah,
they're just gonna really try and bank on him.
Sign, even though I like him.
Yeah, it just feels like they're gonna bank
focused on the wrong details.
Yeah, like make a better game and stop trying to make a better villain.
It's like, yes, I like a good villain, but that's not going to carry the game.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like they are trying to make the main character, like that you play as, somewhat interesting, which is cool because I also enjoyed, like, Far Cry 3's main character should be the least interesting. Well, I guess Far Cry 5 is going to be because there is no Far Cry 5 main character. It's just like the weird 8-ball head guy that you end up making. I mean, I gave him an 8-ball head. But anyways, Far Cry 4 had like Ajay. You made yours an eagle. That's fun too.
That's great. And he had like a red, white, and blue like tank top, and then I just killed people.
Red flag and eagle.
Exactly.
But yeah, I made mine like an 8-ball with like a leather. Like he looked like the guy from Drive, but with a giant 8-ball head, essentially. That was my character. But in Far Cry 3, they had like this interesting thing going on with the main character, because the main character was very much reflective of like the gamer's mindset, because the guy like ends up on the island first, and then like he's like trying to escape because he's gonna die, he's gotta save his friends. And then, like, as the game goes on, he's just like, no, I like killing people. And, like, that's funny because it's, like, he's essentially becoming, like, parallel. His mindset is parallel with, like, the person who's playing the game, which is just like, yeah, I'm playing this game to, like, kill all these pirates on this island. And so there's, like, yeah, it's like there's that sort of common ground between yourself and the main character. And then, like, the rest of the games just didn't have an interesting main character, or they didn't have a main character with any sort of personality at all.
The gameplay
So,
is still
you
very
know,
fun, so that keeps me playing. I'm like, I enjoyed playing
yeah.
5, but it's just like, I don't care about anything happening. And that's the
Yeah,
thing
I would
that
just...
is eventually I'm going to lose steam with, because that only goes so far, and at a certain point I'm going to be like, okay, now I don't care about playing it either, because
Yeah, exactly.
I've done this 100 times. Exactly.
Once you
this
get
way.
used to the gameplay, yeah, once you get used to the gameplay, it's like, usually that's when the game story is there to sort of carry you the rest of the way. And those games just don't have that.
Yeah, true.
Especially because the gameplay is not evolving with every like moment of it. Like some games, like, you know, there's new shit happening all the time. Or like, oh, it's a new city, but like all those games, like, you know, you unlock the third mountain peak or whatever in Far Cry 5, but it's just more fucking mountain and woods. Like, it's not particularly interesting to keep me hooked and be like, oh, what's this rest of this map look like, you know?
Right. Mercury Tempest says, interesting point, they didn't intend Voss to be a main fixture, even in Far Cry 3, but Michael Mondo came to an audition prepared with the character, and they liked it so much they wrote him into the already finished story. That's bizarre, but awesome for him.
Yeah.
It's got to be like a real ego boost.
Yeah.
That you're like, I'm just going to walk into this place with a character I wrote, and then I'm going to talk to their writing team and just straight up tell them, like, I wrote something better, put it in, and then they're going to say yes. And then it worked.
Agreed. Yeah. And I mean, it's funny too, because it totally makes sense that he was written in after the story was finished, because like Voss is there for the first half as like the crazy pirate guy who like kidnapped you, and then you like kill him like a third into the game, and then the rest of it is you trying to infiltrate. I mean, when you do just the main story, those games last like 5 hours, but
I like that there was like 2 competing villains. That kind of was a nice twist too. So you're so used to just like, here's the big boss, and that's it.
Yeah, it was and like it was fun because then as soon as you kill Voss, you go to the second island, and then you get like the suit so that you look like the bad guys. So like you can walk around like the certain like faction of bad guys, and then you could like it became like a different kind of game when depending on like who you were around, which was a very fun like shift in the dynamic, and none of the other games have even like done that anymore. So it's weird. Like I remember my friend being like, "You get a flight suit in Far Cry 4, dude. That's such a cool like new feature in the game." And I was like, "Pretty sure you get a flight suit in Far Cry 3." It's like I didn't think the game could get cooler, and then they gave me a flight suit. It's like Far Cry 3 just kept giving you shit, and then like ever since then, all the other Far Cries were like, we made a shitty zipline system that's kind of fun, but we never really make it fun.
Yeah, they need to find some way to just like, I think last time they were like, alright, we're going to make it new by putting you in a new location, but they need to like, the gameplay needs to be the thing that gets freshened somehow. Mercury Tempest says also, second point to that, so it's not even like they are the ones making great villains, their most interesting character was dropped into their laps.
Yeah, basically. They're just lucky that they gave him a hot character model so that like all the people who are attracted to dudes could be like, look at that hot villain, because nothing gets like fanboys or fangirls than a hot villain. Just gonna say that right now.
I didn't know that game like had a big people who were into the character.
Probably. I don't know. I'm assuming, but I mean, he's not an unattractive character.
Ian's tastes right now.
Vast. No, but you know, they made him an aesthetically pleasing character, and then they also gave you his sister, who like you actually have sex with her depending on the ending you choose. I mean, granted, she kills you and cuts your head off, I think, when you have sex with her, and that's like the ending of that choice. But
man, we've all been there. Am I right?
I know, right?
Fellas.
Just straddling like a girl's
fucking, and they cut your head off. You know
I
what I'm
don't
talking
think your
about,
guy
fellas.
gets done. I don't think your guy finishes. I think he just gets. He just like stabs him.
WTG Mooch redeemed stretch. So we got to do some stretches.
Yeah, who's WTG Mooch? That sounds familiar. I feel like they've been around.
Stretch it out, boys. Yeah. I don't know how much extensive stretching am I supposed to do.
Yeah, we could do like a whole 20-minute like workout.
Yeah, that's the rest of the show. That's what you just signed up for.
That's why we only made it 250 channel points. Znut says, I only consume media because I'm thirsty, which to be fair, there are a lot of people like that, I will say. I had a friend. What was
Sorry,
that?
go ahead. No, keep going.
I had a friend who like they played Assassin's Creed 2 off of my PS3. And then like there'd just be characters who'd appear on screen. They'd be like, "Ooh, they're hot," and I'd be like, "You've said that like every 5 characters."
Well,
it's fine. You can be thirsty. It's just in
media you make most of the characters attractive.
You do. I mean, that's kind of yeah. And then you. Well, that's why I'm saying people like a hot villain.
Sometimes
because
the evil person is also attractive.
Mm-hmm.
Makes you feel conflicted. You're like, wait, wait, they're attractive and bad? That's surprising. Those two things never happen simultaneously.
When finding bad fan fiction was like the fun thing to do on the internet, like My Immortal and things like that, like they always made Draco Malfoy the fucking romantic lead because Draco was, I guess to them, a hot villain. So, and also I guess he was the same age as a lot of the people who were writing that fan fiction. So,
a few comments in the chat. Z-Newt says, "I only consume media because I'm thirsty." Yeah, there you go. What else is it there for? Sex sells. And then WTG Mooch says, they're from Cody's Making Monsters stream that you're drawn at. Another artist stream that we were part of, or not part of, but we were joining in.
We were just
as the audience,
which
drawn.
We're gonna have some audience participation in this one as well. We're working on that.
Whole show.
Yes.
So
Good.
I don't know if you have any more you want to add to this.
We could spiff it up, but we want to move on, don't we?
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's great.
They're just like lying. It looks a little bit like they're lying on a plastic bag, but also we totally know it's a web, so I don't fucking care.
Ian, you look like you're lying on a plastic bag, you piece of shit.
You are a plastic. Like,
fuck yourself.
Remember that scene in American Beauty where whoever is comparing a garbage bag as like a beautiful piece of trash? Yeah. You're not a beautiful piece of trash. You're a piece of shit, and you're ugly. Fuck.
In that scene when he's filming it, if you would have panned to the right, there's a less beautiful trash bag like in a puddle with like a pile of dog shit on it, and that's the plastic bag that you are, man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Gotcha. Not going back on that one. Even though I kind of just piggybacked off the insult you gave me.
Yeah, I'm gonna come up with another movie-themed insult, and you just wait.
That's the only way I can relate.
It's the only thing I know is movies and TV shows and video games. You're dumb.
Oh, okay. Everybody, sorry, but the show's gonna be ending early.
Show's over.
I've been cut to my core, and I don't think I can be creative anymore.
Now when your friends are arguing with each other. This is a real argument, and not at all a channel point redemption. I'm just gonna say that right now.
You can tell it's real from how bloodthirsty it is.
From how convincingly we are mad at each other.
Alright, so what should we draw for our first... We've been trying to do more things interactive with the audience, so if we have any artists watching, or people who don't consider themselves artists, it doesn't matter. You should draw too. We're going to come up with a theme, and we all draw it, and if you join in, we'll show off your stuff on the show, and it'll all be posted in the Discord, so we can all stroke each other's egos. And it's great.
Is that what we're smoking? Okay. I googled a random adjective and then a random noun.
What'd you get?
And I got garrulous security, and garrulous means very talkative, and security means well, it can mean whatever you want it to mean. It means security and safety.
Okay. Why are they both words? I don't know. Like, I guess if you're just Googling random words, I would imagine there's probably a chunk of words I don't know that's equal in size to the ones I do.
Yeah, I think it's impossible to know all the words. I think it's very lucky I got garrulous as an adjective. Like, it's lucky that I know that word. It was a vocabulary word in high school, so...
my word of the day calendar finally paying off.
I want a word of the day calendar. I love those things. I had one for a while, and I learned a lot of words from it.
Oh, we could do that. Should we do garrulous security.
I mean, you know, if it's basically like talkative security, so you could do like a security guard who's like chatting up his buddy and doesn't notice a bank robbery happening behind him.
Somebody says, how many channel points, or as Mercury Tempest says, how many channel points for Brandon to make his bed on stream? That bed's made. There is laundry on it, I will say, but it's made. So,
you know what's funny is,
you know, get out of here.
My bed's not made, and all the laundry I just shoved to the other side of the bed, and it's there on the floor.
The laundry's
right
even
now,
folded. Look at that.
Peek behind the curtain.
There it is. Perfect stack.
It's got its shit way more together than I do. It's just
And this is all part of my like brand for the show. Those are all props. I just stack the clothes up before.
Oh yeah, if you pick them up, it's just a flat piece of cardboard, like
yeah.
Like Wayne Radio's fridge.
This isn't real. I'm in the studio, obviously. We're right next to each other in the studio.
That's right. If I just reach my hand over here. Ow. Wait, that doesn't make sense.
If I do.
Why? Ow.
That was so seamless.
I know. It really helps that I can see what I'm doing right now. I don't have my webcam up, so I'm just sort of guessing what the border is for this stupid mime bit. Garrulous security. You have a generator yourself.
Yeah,
right?
I just hit it and it said a fox in a trench coat. So which of those two should we do?
Well, I feel like I gave up the game for garrulous security. I explained like what we could draw. That like kind of poisons the water a little bit. I like fox in a trench coat. Let's draw. Everyone, draw a fox in a trench coat right now.
Draw
Get
your best fox in a
out.
trench coat.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. You just argue about what the topic's going to be for way too long.
That was the argument for you, Mercury Tempest. I hope that was worth the 3,000 channel points.
Yeah, the plastic bag thing was just organic.
Yeah, that was just actually having an argument.
Fake.
You know what's? I forget, when people redeem these channel points, do they even see the channel points pop up in like the DrawBomb chat? It does, like in the chat, but like in the chat that appears on screen, because like when we upload these to YouTube, people on YouTube are going to be like, what the fuck is going on?
That's a good point. We'll have to get that sorted out.
Yeah, hey, people on YouTube in the future, Mercury Tempest redeemed reward where we have an argument with each other.
Not true, that was a real fight. There's
a real fight.
Tension here on this show.
Draw a frickin' fox in a trench coat, why don't you, my dude?
All it's going to take is one Yoko-esque situation to break up this band, and it's over.
Yoko-esque.
You know, like the Beatles.
Did you know
Are you familiar
that
with the
there's...
Beatles?
No, I don't know them at all. Wait, hold on. There's a bug named the Beatles?
Well, there's multiple bugs named the Beatles, but that's not what I'm talking about.
So, did you know that Yoko Ono used to have an art piece where it was a ladder, and you would climb up the ladder, and at the top, when you reach the top, it would just have like a piece of paper that said yes on it, and I believe the story goes John Lennon was like, why does it say yes? And then she was like, would you rather have said no? How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that kind of art?
It makes me angry, I think, initially, because that was not what his question was. You don't... When somebody responds to your question with a different question in order to make themselves feel intelligent, I want to fight them. It's like, uh-oh. Ian, oh, you were very still for a second. You kind of got froze up.
Uh-oh. No, I'm just drawing this frame very intently.
Oh, the hat. How could I have forgotten the hat? Now I feel like if I use the hat, I'm just copying you.
I feel bad because I want to do Mercury Tempest's idea in the chat, but I gotta get proper like property rights, intellectual property.
Multiple foxes in one trench coat?
Yeah, dude.
How's that? Why do you need property rights for that?
Because that's his idea.
Oh, I see. I'm just going to steal him. Mercury Tempest, come at me with your lawyers. I'd like to see you try and take me down. How about that?
I'd like to see you try!
Oh, I got to put the timer up. I forgot to do that. So, 5 minutes? Does that seem like a good amount of time, or should I do more than that? 10?
Say that again.
5 minutes
How
or
long
10
we're gonna
minutes?
draw
I'm
these?
gonna put yeah, I'm gonna put some time on the clock.
Oh, let's do 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
These are.
Okay, give me one
I gotta
second.
figure out how to draw a dang fox.
I like that you got the trench coat part down. You're like, all right, this trench coats I know.
Yeah, foxes not so much.
All right, timer starts now. 10 minutes. So
You know, foxes are kind of cute, but I'm looking up pictures of foxes right now, and some of them are just ugly.
I think they're very cute.
I think they're cute. I think pretty much all animals are cute, but like some of these foxes,
that I disagree.
it's like
there's a lot of disgusting abominations.
name one.
Spiders. If it was good.
Well, that's not an animal. That is an arachnid anthropod.
Well, what's an animal then?
I guess technically.
Yeah.
I mean, bird. I don't know. When I was in science class, they'd be like,
yeah, birds aren't animals. I'll agree with you
birds.
there.
I mean, they were like birds are a different classification, or and bugs and like insects are not.
Okay, yes,
technically
you're right. There are
animals.
different classifications, but I think animal is just like a word, an over-encompassing word that means like living things that aren't like besides humans. Some people even refer to us as humans or animals.
When I say kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species, does that mean anything to you?
It does, but animal is not one of the words in that list.
Yeah, it is. It's in kingdom. Animal is. It's like there's animal kingdom, and then there's like.
Okay,
other...
sure, but I'm saying it's not part of that like ranking system, that system that you just referred to.
It is. No, that's yeah. And animals are the kingdom, and then like I'll
really
look it
gonna
up for
need
you right now.
chat to get in here and help defend me on this. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll take your side.
I'm googling it right now, and I'm using my 10 minutes to prove myself right.
It's gonna backfire on you. This is part of my technique to win. Not that it was ever a competition before, but
Taxonomic rank, kingdom. Let's start with that. Let's see what other types of kingdoms there are. I feel like that's gonna be like if they're like other types of kingdoms are like foxes or things like that. Then I'll be like, okay, yeah, everything is in the animal kingdom. But I'm pretty sure. I mean, there's also domain, which is like the one higher than kingdom, I guess. So, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species, kind of not the whole picture even. So okay, here are the 6 kingdoms: Animalia, Plantae, Fungi, Protista, Archaea, and Bacteria.
okay. So most of
And
those
most of
other
those
ones are like
plants
type
or
things.
single-celled organisms. Or I guess eukaryotic organisms are multi-celled. But Protista is like protozoa, I'm assuming.
Isn't Protista a professional wrestler?
I think so, yeah. He's in that new zombie movie.
Yeah, that's the one.
I'm just looking here. So the domain is eukaryota, which is like eukaryotes are, I think, either... I mean, I failed all my science classes, so I'm just talking on my ass right now. Cells with a nucleus inside of a thing. But
Get you going
anyways,
that fox of yours. You got 6 minutes and 38 seconds. I mean, I'm not trying to shut you down on this.
No, I don't. I like.
I think animal
I
is not like an official. I think it's like kind of like non-plant based living organisms.
Yeah, Animalia just I think encompasses like everything that's not a plant or a fungus or a like protozoa essentially.
Yeah.
Or bacteria or a gosh, you know, where do we go from here? Classic Guns N' Roses lyric.
We're just still doing the argument that we were paid to do.
That's right.
That's all.
Where do we go now? Wow. So yeah, I guess there are plenty of animals. That's what we were talking about, is animals. Not all of them are pretty.
Right.
So name a not cute or pretty
And I'll
animal.
leave insects out of it because that's just the easy answer. They're all kind of...
Yeah, that's easy. Some insects are cute though.
Yeah, there's cute insects, but I would say if they were like 6 foot tall, they would all be aliens from outer space.
Yes.
Okay, disgusting animals. Let's see here. Blobfish.
Oh, okay. The
No
blobfish
fish?
before they've been subjected to the bends or after?
Oh, I'm not familiar with what you're saying now.
So like that, I think I read this somewhere, but that picture of the blobfish that's like all flat and shit, that's just because like they pulled it out of the water before like letting it, you know, sort of. I mean, the regular blobfish is not so pretty, but here I found a picture of it. Blobfishes, without being pulled out of the water like immediately and like having their skin get all fucked up, aren't too different from like regular fish. This is gonna cover everything up. This is a heads up. Ready?
Yeah.
3, 2,
Go for
1.
it.
Still an ugly fish.
Ah, that's not.
Yeah, it's not great. It looks like a sock puppet. It looks like a Muppet.
Chat. Help me out. Throw up some disgusting animals. I know there's lots of them. I'm just distracted with this fox right now.
I think octopuses are pretty like cool, but they're ugly as fuck. I would never pet an
I don't know if I'd
octopus.
say they're ugly. They just almost resemble a plant more than like an animal. Almost. They're just like nothing about them screams like, "Hey, this thing is." I don't know. Like, I wouldn't compare it to other animals. It doesn't feel like one.
It's like for me, I love octopuses because they're cool as fuck, but
Yeah.
also I would be terrified to ever see one.
Oh, octopuses.
Like
I was thinking jellyfish when you said that. No, they obviously don't resemble. I don't think octopuses are ugly. I think they're cool looking.
I think they're cool.
Kind
I
of
don't think they're ugly. I think they're cool looking, but they would also like they kind of scare me.
they're super intelligent.
They are.
There's this one
That's also why they
documentary
kinda
on Netflix. I think it's one best documentary. Some
The
award
octopus
short.
teacher one.
Yeah, that's great. It will make you cry. Check it out.
I've heard that. Yeah. Have you ever? Do you feel like most documentaries that feature animals are gonna probably make you cry, or
Yeah,
are gonna
because
feature?
you know
the
they
animal?
die at the end, always.
Yeah,
If there's
almost
any
always.
documentaries you know about where the animal doesn't die at the end, throw them out in the chat. I don't think they exist. But,
Yeah. Okay, I have one documentary where the animal didn't die in the end, but like it wasn't
Homeward
about
Bound?
the animal though. No, but I mean I was really scared for Shadow there for a hot second.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, leave me alone, Michael J. Fox voice dog. Oh, can't you see it's the end for me? Or was Shadow the cat?
No,
Shadow was the dog.
Definitely the golden retriever.
Okay. Wait, the golden retriever, as in the one voiced by Michael J. Fox, or like
No,
the dog
no.
that they?
Michael
the
J.
droopy
Fox
dog.
was a pit bull named Chance. Then there's Sassy the cat. I know this movie. I've seen it 1,000 times.
You clearly know this movie much better than I do. What was I saying?
You're talking about a documentary where the animal doesn't die at the end.
Oh yeah. It's like this German couple, and the guy's like, they're like, we come from very humble origin. This is like a Dutch accent. This is not what a German person sounds, or what they sound like at all. But like, we come from very humble origins, and you know, I did designs for BMW, and she is a famous singer. And it's like, so, no, you guys are not humble origins. But anyways, and then they're like, they like basically they convert a school bus into like a living place, and then they like start this year-long trip to drive across the North America. So they go like from somewhere I think on the east coast of the United States, travel up through Canada, go across, go down to Mexico, and then they like have to cut the trip short because the dog ends up becoming so like sick of all the travel that like it starts to die. So they're like, okay, yeah, we're gonna cancel our trip because we'd rather not kill our dog. And then the dog lives in the end. I was like, good. And I let everyone know before they watch it. I'm like, the dog doesn't die. You might think it will for like a little bit, but
I thought of
the dog
one.
lives.
An animal dies in it, but not the one that you would refer to as an animal. But Grizzly Man, the bears live.
Oh
the
yeah.
man- the man does not.
No, the man does not. And then
And
Werner
Werner
Herzog
Herzog.
listens to the
I will say
fucking
we
audio.
have less than a minute left. I say we'll probably give ourselves a little bit extra time because we've gotten into some very
Started
deep
Googling shit.
conversations.
I was just like poo-pooing everything you had to say about animals there. I was just
were.
like, blobfish or bleh. this and that. I mean,
then, like, everything you were like, no, and then you looked it up and you're like, oh yeah.
well, I mean, the blobfish don't really look like that famous picture of the blobfish. Like,
But that picture you showed me
that
was almost, it was like
was not,
upsetting in different ways.
yeah, it looked like a terrible Muppet. It was not good. It was
3
not
seconds,
a cute
but
fish.
yeah, we'll give ourselves like another 5 minutes or so.
Were you about to list another
I hope some
documentary?
people in the chat are drawing some foxes in trench coats. We'd love to see them. Other
Please do.
documentaries with animals. I don't know offhand. I don't know. But how's your drawing come along? I thought about using their heads on the sleeves, and then I just thought tiny hands would be funny too. So
My hands are pretty
I
funny.
like that we both did both visual gags because I wanted to see them both. I had to choose one myself.
As soon as I started using the hands as like the mouse as the hand, I was like, well, if I gotta put a gun in the one hand because that's just funny.
Well, everybody in a trench coat has a gun or they're ready to flash their penis. It's one of 2 options. Or you have a bunch of watches. I don't think anyone else besides that owns a trench coat.
Trench coats are really falling out of style, you know?
Yeah, you know,
It's the 50s.
bad associations.
There are a lot of bad associations with
People
trench
who wear
coats.
them, once again, are one of the 3 listed things. Criminal. Well,
It's gotta be like,
you're just a criminal, but different kinds. You're either like a sex criminal or like just.
or like you're concealing weapons or some shit like that. Like it's all bad.
Or you think you're being quirky. That's another bad one.
Yeah, that's true. No one likes a person who's like trying to be quirky. What a bad, like, that's like, even like undershirts, let's call them, have that bad association of like being called reference to spousal abuse.
Yes.
But you know, they're really undershirts, and like those I feel like have a better reputation despite its name than trench
like a
coats.
functional design for what you need.
Yeah. I can't even, like, when is a trench coat?
It's got to be hard being in the room of like people like, how do we sell trench coats this year? And it's like, everyone thinks you're gonna be a sexual predator if you wear one.
Yeah.
So it makes it a little bit harder.
It does. Or they think you're gonna sell shit on the black market or something like that. It's like, okay, how do we repair the image of the trench coat? Like, what is the sole function of the trench coat? And like, what does a trench coat do? Like, all I can think of is like, it makes your like neck. When it rains out, it funnels all of the rain down your neck or something like that. Like, I don't know.
It allows multiple kids to come together and save money on movie tickets.
This is true. Or to see like a movie that they're not allowed to see.
Yeah.
You know, like get into that R-rated film.
That's the purpose.
That's gonna traumatize them all. The trench coats really get a bad rap.
I like that your foxes have, they didn't button it up. You get to see the inner workings of these foxes. You really get to.
They just really think that the disguise is so clever. Plus, the guy who's walking around has to see what's going on. What's a movie you would say that you have to see that like people keep telling you? Because like, for instance, I haven't seen Fantastic Mr. Fox yet, and I really want to.
Oh shit, that's great. I'm gonna be one of those people on the list now that tells you to watch that.
Oh no, it's another one.
It's really good.
But what are some flim flams that you haven't quite seen yet that you feel like you should?
We've learned on this show that I'm great when I'm put on the spot.
I know, that's why I've started asking a bunch of questions today, is because I'm going to get you better at this. You need to really nail those.
Let's see, what's a movie that everyone says I should watch? I watch a good amount of
Jaws?
movies.
Have you seen Jaws?
Many times. Have you seen Jaws?
I haven't, no.
Oh my God.
Have you seen The Fly?
Yes.
It's Jeff Goldblum.
I have, and
Yeah,
it's
you need to see that.
disgusting in the best ways. At one
No,
point,
actually,
Jeff Goldblum rips his own like jaw off his face, and like a bunch of like slime and goo spills out of his head, and it's pretty great.
I've seen that scene. I love it. I need to. There's actually. I found that. I think that website Tubi, which I've talked about every once in a while, they just like put fucking weird free movies up on it. They have Existence by Cronenberg on there, which I need to watch.
I could be mixed up, but I believe there's a Fly 2, and in the opening scenes, I could be mixed up. This could be Fly 1, and I just don't have it remembered right, because I haven't seen these movies in a long time. But in the opening scene of Fly 2, I think or maybe it is the first one. Anyways, there's a scene where he's like arm wrestling somebody, but I guess because he's a fly, he's strong. So he just like snaps the guy's arm, and like the bones all shoot out of his arm and stuff, and it's pretty disgusting.
Cronenberg.
That's why you don't arm wrestle a fly, in case you were ever considering
Good to know.
that. Don't do it.
What about Sylvester Stallone and Over the Top? Would you wrestle him with your arms?
If I was a fly, then yes.
Okay. What about
Sylvester
Sylvester Stallone's son in Over the Top?
Is his son a fly?
I don't think so.
Is this just a kid?
I think it's just Sylvester Stallone's. Either in.
Yeah,
I think
I would
it's
totally arm wrestle a kid. That would make me.
How? What's the cutoff before you stop arm wrestling kids? Like what age?
Like, what age won't? Like what? When they get too old?
Like
You're saying?
Like yeah, I'll arm wrestle an 8-year-old, but I won't arm wrestle a 9-year-old. Like where's the cutoff for you?
So the
That's
risk
not my answer,
versus
by the way.
reward gets higher, because if you lose to a child, it's embarrassing. So you want to cut it off right when they're strong enough, because if you're like, like I could beat this 15-year-old, then this like strong 15-year-old shuts you down. Boy, you'll just it's gonna. I'm not saying that's my answer, but it's like it's like a line graph, because the risk gets higher for embarrassment. Every age higher, you're willing to go.
I feel like
Granted, the older people that you're able to beat, the more you'll be celebrated. People be like, "Wow, you arm wrestled that 16-year-old and won." Well, that's weird.
I feel like the risk reward is actually like higher the lower in age you go, because like say you're arm wrestling an 8-year-old and like there's no reward.
Jeff Goldblum in the Fly.
Yes, no. There's no reward for like beating an 8-year-old in arm wrestling. It's like, yeah, sure. But if you lose to that 8-year-old in arm wrestling, now you're the guy who lost to an 8-year-old in an arm wrestling match. Like, do you really want that on your head? So I feel like it's an inverse risk reward relationship.
Well, personally, it's very rewarding for me to beat an 8-year-old in arm wrestling.
For me, it's very rewarding to beat an 8-year-old with my fit. No, that's terrible. I don't have any more arm wrestling questions, unfortunately.
Hit 8-year-olds.
Yeah, please don't hit children, folks. It's pretty frowned upon, I would say.
All right, there's my fox. I'll let you finish yours up, but we went over.
Let's start figuring out our next word.
If anybody in the chat has joined in, first off, join our Discord. We need more good people like you in there.
You're about to find a damn link.
There's going to be a, there it is. There's the link. And under DrawBomb Live, there's one called DrawBomb Along. Drop your drawings in there, and we will show them on stream. And we'll all say nice things about you. And then when you go to bed at night, you're going to be like, I feel satisfied with the way I spent my Monday night. And that's not a guarantee.
I hope so. I want to read the chat a little bit.
Okay,
it's mostly my brother saying stuff. Xenude saying, I mean facts. Facts? Facts in a trench coat?
Facts in a trench coat is way less interesting. It's just like a stack of papers in a trench coat.
Unless like you have a fax machine in your trench coat, so then all of a sudden you're just like, beep, 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 beep. Whoa, it's a recipe.
Is that what what people are faxing you as recipes?
I don't know what the fuck people would even fax. Like, oh, I'm getting sued.
I feel like there's people out there that still have their fax machine turned on, and anytime a fax starts rolling in, they're probably like, "What the hell?"
Oh, jeez, someone released my number on another 4chan again.
Yeah, they don't they still have it hooked up, but they automatically know when a fax rolls in that something's wrong because no one's sending faxes.
Crabs are ugly as sin. I agree. Crabs have too many. You can't have more than 4 legs, and then you're out of the picture for me. If you have more than 4 legs, that's too many for me. That's just gross. You have too many legs. That's my rule of thumb. And crabs would definitely break that rule of thumb. They're too close to tank spiders. They're spiders, but they're tanks, so I don't like that. All that
this isn't new information, but it was something that was kind of like making the rounds on the internet a couple months ago. But basically, someone pointed out that it turns out that different crabs are like the end of an evolutionary chain, like in like 4 different scenarios, meaning that all roads lead to crabs.
I think you've mentioned this before, but
I probably have,
very
but
hilarious.
It's pretty interesting that like that's from what we've. I mean, unless they continue to grow and change into different things, what we've gathered is from the data we have, crabs are like evolutionary perfection. just the fact that multiple like biological lines have ended in crabs.
Guys, this is why we haven't quite mastered spaceflight yet. It's because we're not walking sideways. Okay?
Exactly.
Yes.
A lot more people can fit in the hallway if we're all sideways.
This is true. It's thinner.
A lot more
like
done.
at least by. Usually, you're thinner by at least half or more or less. Usually less. I would actually go as far as to say.
That's like that horror movie where that guy hits a woman with his car and then he turns into a crab very slowly.
Is that like a combination of The Fly and Thinner?
I don't know. And then something about a crab. Anyways, go on. Let's move on from that.
All right. That one neighborhood dog looks like a furry pig. That's also in reference to an earlier conversation we had. We just got so caught up in these stupid questions I was asking.
Left them in the dust. Fortunately, they're still here.
Yeah. Usually when I comment, I always like try and leave context. I don't always, but I'll try to because I realize like they might get to my comment whenever, or if they even do read my comment on Twitch. So I'll like usually start trying to include context, I guess, because otherwise, yeah, it's like this happens. I'm just like, what the yeah. Moving on. Ian watched Fantastic Mr. Fox. I think we all know what that's in reference to. It's the Kingdom Final class where the family genius species not. Leviathan Den says, "Wow, look at all the people." Yeah, I'm just as amazed as you are that anybody's hanging out right now, let alone 8 people. That's weird.
People are here for that.
You are.
For that.
People are.
Crab talk.
Here for that crab talk. Hi, you're welcome to Crab Talk.
Today we're talking. Here's a topic: crabs.
Yeah, we talk about crabs. So we're gonna go. Our first call is from Jenny, from New Jersey, and she's talking about her crab.
Jenny
that's if
on the line. She's a crab. Hello, Jenny. And then I don't know. I was gonna do a crab noise, but I don't think there is a crab noise.
Yeah, I have no fucking
clue. A lot of the animals living underwater don't have noises, or maybe they
do. Not very audible. Yeah, maybe they do make noises. I mean,
a lot of the mammals and stuff do.
That's true.
That's about
whales.
It. All the other animals just kind of like.
What's your best whale? Let's see, then I post, and then Xenud says, "You guys really need timestamps of the comments." You say that, but it doesn't help us. I wouldn't look at like your comment. I mean, you can actually. There are timestamps with your comment right there. I see it 9:14 is when you said that, but I don't fucking know what time it was when we started talking about.
I have a great memory. I know I know all the times we started talking about
at 9:16. We started talking about crabs.
These are pretty good foxes and trench coats, if I do say so myself.
Thank you. I am all done. I think your drawing came out a little more robust, but I was kind of working more conceptual, I think, with my Fox Chimera trench coat.
Hey, I'm a fan. I'm #1 fan of that.
I appreciate it.
Trench fox or fox coat.
Fox coat.
All right, let me save this real quick. Real quick. Fox coat, and then we can move on to the next drawing if you'd like to do another one of these.
Sure.
And by that I mean another
that's...
drawing of foxes in trench coats.
Oh yeah, of course, definitely.
Alright.
Some of these nouns are becoming very abstract. Like attention is not very...
I got... First one was chubby brontosaurus, which I'd be willing to draw.
You want to draw that? You're using the generator we used last time?
Yeah.
Let's do a chubby brontosaurus.
Well, I mean, let me look for just a couple more.
Yeah, you know, that one I feel like there's not too much we can really work with on that one.
Right.
Doesn't have quite that pop that we're looking for out of prompts.
This one kind of leaves it open. It says, "It awoke from the sea." That's another one.
That's a scenario.
What else we got? Half human, half unicorn.
What if it awoke from the sea as a half human?
What else?
That way we go.
We can do that. You want to do the what do you call a half human, half horse? I forget. It's a
centaur corn.
Centaur corn.
Here, let's. Let me. I feel like we just need one more. Really got that zing, you know. We need one that's got that wow factor, you know, one that pops. Wow. What if? Hold on. A demon's birthday is what I just got. Could do a demon birthday.
I wouldn't be against that. I'm gonna do a demon birthday.
Let's do demon birthday.
All right.
I'll take care of the text.
Okay.
You got it.
Okay.
Who got it? You got it. Who sent for me? This looks like the time for me. All right, demon birthday. Gosh, I gotta think about what I'm gonna do with this one.
People in the chat, draw a demon birthday. Come on.
Draw a demon birthday. Post on the Discord.
Why wouldn't you draw a demon birthday?
The frickety frack would you not?
If you can come up with one reason why you wouldn't draw a demon birthday, I'll let you off the hook. But you're gonna have a hard time.
I would love to hear it. I'd love to hear your excuse. Demon birthday, gosh. Okay. I have one idea rattling around in my brain about
I'm gonna give you a moment to
I
conceptualize. I'm gonna grab a beer and then I will be back and start the timer. Okay.
I'm gonna get a glass of water, but I feel like that's weird for us to both leave. Oh, he's gone. Okay, wow. This is, you know what, this actually gives me the idea to get the soundboard ready to go. Let's see. Where could I get some soundboards from? If they have any new ones. Any new soundboards? No, just the same ones. Yeah. Wow. Okay, anime. Okay, this is just gonna be me playing with soundboards until Brandon gets his beer. These are ambiances. Oh, I love that sound actually. That's pretty fun. That is just, these are just RPG tunes.
Alright.
Okay, that's fun. I enjoyed that. Hey, you ever think about how they make these dang noises? We got a wow.
It's from Aliens. The FBI recently, the CIA recently admitted they're real. And that's what they do with the ones they've captured at Area 51. They just do Foley work.
That's right. And they just make the aliens go, weep, weep,
weep, weep. Sorry, one more second.
Weep, weep. Oh.
Actually, you know what? Never mind. I'm back, and I'm here to stay.
Oh. Brandon's going back in an unusual way. Because, you know, if you were about to leave a second time, people would have been like,
oh, come on!
All right.
All right, demon birthday. You ready for this one?
Time. I'm gonna start the timer now. People in the chat.
Okay.
People in the chat. Draw a demon birthday. Just do it.
Demon birthday. Let's see what you got.
When you
Show
don't
us
draw
what you
demon
got.
birthday, you make us look like fools.
Yeah, no, like when we do these draw-alongs and nobody draws along, it rings hollow, I would say.
We lose a lot of respect from our peers.
For ourselves.
Yeah, well that. Extra Attack RPG in the chat says, "Hello, Drawbles. My stream isn't loading, but I just wanted to hop in and say hi. Also, that I just ordered some junk from Paper Bag, and everyone else should too." Aw, thank you so much.
Oh, look at that.
What a sweetheart.
Homies supporting homies.
Paper Bag is, as I have mentioned on the show before, it's a Etsy shop I do with my fiance, and we make some fun stuff, and you should check it out. It's under Paper Bag Creative on Etsy if you look it up. And I appreciate it. Extra Attack RPG, you're a real sweetheart. A real friend of the show.
Real friend of the show. Real friendly. Always supporting. Always.
Excuse me. Always doing the thing. I'm done in the timer this time. We're already at 8 minutes and 45 seconds. So it moves
Which
quick.
might mean, since we're giving ourselves 10 minutes, I mean, I feel like coloring is really where we're kneecapping ourselves here.
Skip that part if you want, or we could also up the timer to like 12 minutes in the future or something like that if we're just not getting it done.
I feel like whenever we do like those dueling drawing requests streams, when we like do the draw-alongs with those, I feel like the 15 minutes, even that, like starts to feel like, ah, shit, I only have 15 minutes.
Right.
So it's.
I will say, it also part of it might be the fact that because I'm running the stream, I know I have more wiggle room, so I'm not as like quick to get it done. When I'm on those streams, I'm like rushing. I'm like, I'm gonna get it done in time. And this, I'm just kind of like casual. So maybe I need to like.
Yeah, really inject that fire into you.
Yeah, but I do like to kind of talk and stuff to keep the show interesting.
We're rushing, then we're kind of also neglecting the chit-chat duties that we have.
We have duties.
We got duties. Keep them in a bag. That's. What if I was just completely serious about that? What if I just. How would it affect our friendship if you found out one day that I just like shit into like a bag and keep it under my desk for later use?
I have some questions to start off with. First off,
I never have I ever.
Do you have plumbing available to you?
Let's just imagine my current situation is what it is.
You do have plumbing. You're choosing to not use it.
Choosing to shit into a bag and keep it.
Next question.
And within close reach.
Next question. Okay. Are you saving it for later, or is this your disposal technique?
Let's say upon finding out, I flounder around an answer, but I don't really give you a straight reason as to why.
Obviously, there's some shame involved.
Yeah.
Alright. Yeah, it would immediately dissolve our friendship and the stream.
I think that's the correct answer. I feel like you can't come back from that, right? Like
it'd be hard.
Like we've been friends for a very long time, but if I found out that you just like shit in bags and like kept them like stored under the table or something like that, I'd be like, you cooked for me. Like I ate your tacos. You know, I feel like
that explains why I had pink eye the entire time I was hanging out at your house. You just have loose shit.
Oh God, it all comes together now, full circle. So yeah, I'm asking a lot of hypotheticals because I feel like
of weird stuff with like shit behavior and stuff. I feel like I want a bidet, but I feel like all the guests
I want a bidet
would question because I mean, is the only reason that we don't have bidets is because we're still mad at France.
Something like that, man. I don't even understand why we're still using the imperial system.
Right. It's a hard one to move away from.
like I understand sort of to an extent Fahrenheit versus Celsius. Like Fahrenheit sort of is more based on like comfort on a human level, and Celsius is much more scientific and clinical and things like that. Like,
yeah,
but
I get where it came from, but like also in that same sense, part of I get where it came from is the stupid part. Like you obviously know it was like trying to come up with their own thing was a big driving force, not just like this makes more sense. Was not the origin of it. I'm sure
a lot of jingoism involved. I do feel like what was the question I was about to ask? Shit. If you are you a hot person or a cold person?
I like to think I'm a hot person, but that it's hard to rank yourself. Wait, what's the question?
I mean, you're no Voss.
I'm learning a lot about you. Shitting in
that's
bags,
a callback,
very
everybody.
attractive to boss. You just mean like generally, do I run hot or cold?
Yeah, like my mom, like my ex-girlfriend and my mom, like, well, my mom doesn't do this, but my ex-girlfriend, she would keep the windows open during the wintertime. Like if it was snowing out, like the windows would still be open. So I'd be in like a fucking hoodie all the time. And mom keeps the damn house.
I'm pretty comfortable in both. So I would say like I'm the guy in the room like when people are sweating their asses off or freezing, I'm like just hanging out and I'm fine.
Okay.
But I would say generally speaking, I find myself warm more often than I find myself cold.
Okay, interesting.
So I guess the answer is warm. If I don't want to make it all complicated.
I would say that makes you. Does that make you a cold person or a warm person? I guess that makes you like a warm temperature. Makes you a colder temperature person because you will thrive better in colder temperatures, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm the opposite. We're no longer friends. No, I get cold super. I'm wearing a fucking hoodie right now. It's the middle of summer. I get very cold very easily. So it did not help that my ex-girlfriend would keep the window open during the winter time.
Then on top of that, I think I deal with being cold better than I deal with being hot. Cold, I can kind of just be like, well, I guess I'm cold. But being hot, it kind of like is more debilitating to me.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I'm the opposite way. Like if I'm cold, like I'm shivering, I'm jittering, I can't focus on anything anymore. If I'm hot, like I'll sweat it out. Like I can, like in order to save energy when I was living in this one apartment in Philly, like the air conditioning was like would add like $1,000 to the month, and like we would fought with like the landlords about it, and that's why we ended up moving out of that place because it was like this shit just makes no fucking sense. Our neighbors even like talked to us about it. But anyways, so like during the summertime, I just didn't use the air conditioning, and I was like sweating it out. I mean, I was in my boxers, but like I was sweating it out that summer, just sweating it. Yeah, I don't know what else to call it aside from like sweating it out.
Sweating it out. My growing up, my mom did not have air conditioning in her house, and she did not. She would only use the heat up to the point where like she use it as little as possible. So I think that's when I say I'm just kind of comfortable in whatever heat. It's because like just got used to like being fine with whatever like uncomfortable temperatures.
Right.
So it was just kind of that was it. It was like if you're cold, get a blanket. If you're hot, I don't know, open a window or something. Which doesn't help in Michigan because it's fucking humid here.
It's interesting. I feel like that sort of like whatever your parents put up with in terms of heating and cooling and stuff like that affects largely like what you're used to as what you're used to essentially.
True. Yeah. I would say I'm more of a normal person now because I now live with another person who's like, no. We're not going to leave the house freezing and hot and just be miserable year-round, especially in a state where it's only comfortable here for like 2 months out of the whole year.
Right.
So now I kind of rely on air conditioning and heat, and I'm willing to pay for it because it's better.
Yeah, I mean, once I get back to my own, like when I have my own place, or like when I was in control of my own thermostat, like I kept that shit comfy. Like I was good, I was Gucci. But like if it got hot, like I mean, I think it's easier to compensate for being cold than for being hot, because it's cold, you just put more layers on. It's hot, you're like, I got skin left, that's it.
Right. Yeah, you can just bundle up and then you get comfortable again. But when you're just like,
by the way.
I know. When you're just like, I'm not done yet. I mean, we could always not color it, but maybe we'll do that.
You want to color it?
You don't have to color it. Oh, I like your candles. That is a nice touch right there.
We both managed to include the numbers in there somewhere.
Yeah. I like that he's blowing fire onto the. That was the clever thing I thought I did.
I see what you're doing. Yeah, he's not putting out the candles at all. No one's gonna be able to eat that cake.
It's burnt cake, but just like the thing you're talking about, you get used to things, and I'm sure everyone in hell gets used to eating only burnt food.
This is true. Well, I feel like the point of hell, at least biblically, is that you never get used to it. Because otherwise, they just like eventually they're just like, well, we can't torture this guy anymore. What do we do with him?
They just gotta figure out ways to up their ante.
Yeah. I love that scene in The Simpsons where he's like, since you like donuts so much, we're gonna feed you donuts, and then like he just force feeds him like a shit ton of donuts, and then like it doesn't affect Homer at all. He's just like more, and then like it like breaks the demon down. He's like, I don't even know who I am anymore, or whatever he says.
Isn't it Flanders as a demon?
Flanders is the judge who I think condemns him to hell, but the demon who
Gotcha.
force feeds him the donuts is a.
There's a Treehouse of Horror where Flanders is Satan or something.
Yeah, I think this is the same one. Like, Flanders is the one who's like the judge, isn't he?
Okay.
Who like condemns Homer. Like Homer sells his soul for a donut.
Oh,
or am I
yeah.
thinking of a different? Is that Flanders?
I mean, we might be mixing up a few episodes. There are
We probably
2,000
are.
episodes of this show.
Yeah. Have you seen any of the more recent episodes of the show?
No, I haven't seen a new episode in like over a decade, honestly.
Yeah, you're not missing too much. I saw an episode on TV like a week or two ago, and it just wasn't very funny, and like the plot was pretty nonsensical, and like I don't know, it didn't feel like it started anything or wrapped anything up by the end of it. So it was just kind of
The
like a
last few
weird episode.
Simpsons I saw was the movie. Which was
I
pretty
mean,
good.
I heard the movie was good. I haven't seen it.
I liked it.
But I saw an episode on Hulu this year. I was doing research on Christmas specials for an article, and I was still writing the articles.
Are we coloring this? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I can do that as well.
Oh, well, I wasn't sure. You were drawing stuff back there, so I figured I'd.
We can either stop now, or we can color it, and it'll probably be the rest of the show. What do you think?
I might say let's move on to a new
Okay.
drawing, because the anatomy on this naked guy is fucking terrible. That I do.
Well, he's in hell. He didn't start out that way. They bent him.
The spine became that way. He's got spinal
Right.
bifida.
You gotta look for those excuses to make up for your mistakes. Like that's how you work your way through critiques in
I
college.
intended to give him both left
No,
hands.
see, this was it's a metaphor for just always feeling like you don't so it's a metaphor like so it's like so it's just really artistic and you just don't understand. That's what it is.
It's like entropy, you know. The one recent episode I saw. Oh, we're gonna save this, right?
Yeah, I actually
Before I
just
start
did,
talking
unless you
about-
want to do anything to it yet.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Before I start talking about The Simpsons, and if we can stop me from it, that's fine too. Let's find
Okay.
one more Rockta. Or two more.
It's not two more.
Not two more. Let's see here. I'll get that one link pulled up. Rain deity I got from my generator.
do rain deity.
Yeah, like a rain god.
My thing keeps recommending chubby animals. It just said chubby cheetah after like chubby brontosaurus.
Chubby cheetah, the brother to Chester cheetah.
It's like, why are you always feeding me Cheetos? He's like, you know, being the brother to Chester, you have, there's perks, but it's just basically like an abundance of Cheetos.
Yeah. he's had too many Cheetos. That's why he got kicked off the spokesman payroll.
It's his twin brother. They dropped him. He was the original spokesman. And they don't tell anybody. It's the dark past of Cheetos.
He became too addicted to those Cheetos.
Are we doing
Oh, were you gonna generate a prompt?
rain deity? I've been shuffling through, but I haven't found anything good yet.
Wanna do rain deity?
Rain deity it is.
Alrighty. I watched this one Simpsons episode that like it was the Christmas special. It was weird because it was a Christmas special that came out in summer, and or it was a Christmas special that takes place in summer. It's hard to really pinpoint, but I know they did like 2 Christmas specials in the most recent season because of like COVID throwing everything off. But it actually made me laugh. I thought it was kind of clever. Because it's basically like it follows a character who's not a character on The Simpsons at all. Like it starts out with it's like this lady who she's an executive for like the Lifetime channel or it's the Hallmark channel or whatever.
Okay.
And it's like basically it's a rom-com with like the same type of camera angles, the same kind of music. And she's like basically I had to shoot a Christmas movie in the town of Springfield and it's the middle of the summer and this is my first big Alright, and she's like, this is my first big break at working for the Hallmark channel. I'm not sure if it's actually the Hallmark channel, but I'm just going to call it that. Yeah. And so it's like about her trying to like get this movie shot in Springfield. And it's like following her with like all those different, like, again, it's like presented exactly like a Hallmark rom-com with like the musical cues. And like the camera angles are different than they would normally do for The Simpsons because it's all like sort of waist up tracking shots and things like that.
Yeah.
But anyways, she tries to shoot the movie and the Simpsons are involved, but sort of barely. But it's about her. She sort of starts to like fall in love with like Seymour Skinner because he's like helping her set up the set or whatever. And it's fine or whatever. It's kind of a funny concept, but it like doesn't carry the episode too far. And then at the end, she's like, she kisses Seymour, and then like her fiance rolls up in his car and he's like, God damn it, are you doing this again? And she's like, what? And he's like, yeah, like every time you go to a new town you fall in love with a guy and then I come in and like we have to talk about it. He's like, this is like the 5th time, and like that's the end of the episode.
Well, that's good. I like that. It's a nice little twist all night.
It was a clever episode where that like it go figure, like of all the recent episodes I've watched, one of the better ones was when they shook up the formula. Did something a little different.
Turns out people like it when you write something clever.
Whoa, crazy! There's this other episode of The Simpsons that was also like a Christmas episode, and that like it takes place like they're getting a Christmas tree, and then like Bart falls into like a World War II hatch in the middle of the forest. And then like the rest of the episode is just the family like wondering if Bart's dead, and there's like police like searching for him, and it's not a very funny episode because the entire time like they're making jokes, but the entire time it's just like no, but like the whole family is back at home like just crying because they're worried that like
text episode.
Yeah, it's not when you say green text you're referring to like
the Bart's dead horror story that you told me about.
What was that?
Didn't you tell me about like a Bart's the green text like creepy pasta type things?
Oh,
Bart's
that's a
dead.
different one. The Bart's dead thing is I got you. I got confused. Yeah, they're just crying. It's basically that, though. I mean, they're crying the whole time. They think that Bart's dead. Like, the police come back and they're like, we found scraps of his hoodie. It's likely he's dead now. And, like, the whole family is, like, fucking sad as shit the whole episode. And I'm like, this isn't funny. This is just, like, this is, like, what some families go through. Like, this is
right.
rough.
But, you know, Simpsons
you know, all in the
has
name of comedy.
been a TV show for 30 years. Longer.
You know.
Like, I mean, everything you write is going to be like. I mean, how do you be original
oh, yeah.
without offending people? I'm not
Well,
saying
you can't.
like, as a defense. I'm saying that show should not be on the air anymore. But.
Oh yeah, it's not my main complaint that like that happens to families. It's more so like the episode was just very depressing because like most of it was just like Marge just crying uncontrollably and like Homer's just like, and then like Sideshow Bob eventually steps in and then sort of like picks up again and like he kidnaps Milhouse too. But yeah, for the most part it was just like, wow, all these scenes of like the family grieving are really a bummer.
This is a comedy show? Is that right?
Yeah, I don't get it. What's funny? This is as depressing as that first episode of The Simpsons where they rescue a dog from a dog track. And like Homer's very poor.
Like this. Aside from the dog thing, Homer being poor is the plot of a lot of the episodes.
Yeah, it's pretty much the whole show in the beginning. That is the weird thing about The Simpsons, and I think we've talked about this before, but they do start off very slice of life, like struggling with the Bills family, and then at some point it turns into like Homer's got a job, like a new job every week, and now he's like skateboarding with Tony Hawk. And
at some point it becomes I think the moment that it became like a institution, you know, like where you got like 3 generations of people working on the show. It became like a talk show almost. Like where this week's celebrity guest is Weird Al Yankovic, and like it's no longer a cartoon where they're writing plots. It's just like them trying to like.
Yeah.
The Simpsons this week are like, what celebrity are they hanging out with? Type thing. It's just
Yeah.
weird.
It is weird because it would literally be like a celebrity week. Like it's like, and it's like. A lot of TV shows will have a celebrity come in, but the celebrity is not playing the celebrity. But in The Simpsons, it was really weird because they'd be like, "Hey, check it out! It's Weird Al. It's the Fab Five from Queer Eye for the Straight Guy," and like they weren't being anybody. It was just those.
Hang out.
Yeah, it was them. It's Vincent Price. What the hell?
Like, that's what I'm saying. Where it's like a talk show. Like it's reached that level where it's like Jimmy Fallon says, "Come on out, so and so," and they come out and they just hang out for a minute.
Oh, Lisa Simpson is singing with Lady Gaga.
Wow, what a good show. I think it's like I don't know what to write anymore, so I guess let's just have celebrities on the show.
Yeah, it's weird. And they used to like make up their own celebrities, like Bleeding Gums Murphy was not a real.
Well, yeah,
like,
that was back when it was original. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
yeah.
They used to be so original. They'd make up celebrities instead of just drawing from the well.
I think when the show was still good, there was the occasional episode where they'd have a celebrity, and they probably get good ratings, and that's probably how the show slowly transformed into this. Like the weird random episode where Michael Jackson was on the show got a few more people tuning in when Fox was like, "This Sunday, Michael Jackson's in The Simpsons," and then people were like, "Oh, I better watch that." And now, then it turned into that being all the show is because they have enough money to just basically be like, "Hey, Jeff Bezos, do you want to be on The Simpsons this fucking week?"
Jeff Bezos was on The Simpsons with Mark Cuban in one episode.
Great. I'm sure, like, instead of The Simpsons reaching out to him, he'd probably reach out to The Simpsons and he's like,
I'm sure.
I'll have your show taken off the air if you don't put me on.
Seriously. And it was weird because it's like Mr. Burns goes to billionaire camp and Jeff Bezos and Mark Cuban are there and they're like, wait, you're a single billionaire? We're multi-billionaires. And it's like, I get it, they're fucking rich and now I'm gonna die like in a mine or a gulag. Like it's
yeah.
You know.
I know they're rich and they suck, but you know, we're gonna get the last laugh when they're super lonely in their very nice bunkers that are probably nicer than any place we've ever lived after we're all dead. So
from their hand.
Well, yeah, but you know, then jokes on them is what I'm saying. So.
Aha. Who are you gonna stream to now that I'm dead, Jeff? You bald fuck. Anyways, we don't mean anything against bald people.
No.
we do mean everything against Jeff Bezos. Also, we're on
fair
Twitch, which is owned by.
to bald people to rope them in with Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
You know, Bruce Willis came in and did all the heavy lifting to make bald sexy, and then Jeff Bezos had to come in and ruin it for everyone. Just like everything
right?
else.
All that hard work. Also, I hear Bruce Willis is a prick.
Yeah, I've heard that too. And actually, whatever. It's all hearsay on my part, so I should probably.
Yeah, like I know or will ever meet Bruce Willis. Like, oh, let's gossip about celebrities.
He apparently came to the restaurant that I work at right now a couple years before I worked there, and he was a dick there too, just like to the staff and stuff, is what I heard.
Oh, jeez. That's the thing, is like, maybe you're a dick to like some reporters, and I get it, because like reporters are all like, "Hey, Bruce Willis, what was it like to pretend to fuck so and so in this movie?" And like, but like if you're mean to like the restaurant staff at like just a rando restaurant you show up at, like you're a fucking asshole. Like fuck you.
Right. Especially if you're rich, because you're doing it to people who are like have no choice but to wait on you because that's how they pay for shit.
Yeah, they get paid jack fucking shit, and you're like, you like throw a tantrum if you don't get paid like $8 million for like 2 scenes, like a 2 days work. So it's dumb. So yeah, if you're mean to restaurant staff, you're a fucking asshole, irredeemable. Get fucked. Those, like, I've been watching Modern Family. I'm on season 4 now. And I like it a lot. And they do have like celebrity guests on the show a lot, but the celebrities are always like playing. There's like one episode this guy was the celebrity guest, and he basically was like, his whole role was doing his stand-up on a stage that like 2 of the characters were going to see. But like it was a very funny episode though, so like I didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
But like, you know, they had.
I'm not automatically against celebrity guests. Simpsons is just they do that more than they write scripts anymore.
Yeah, but then like in season 1 of Modern Family, they have like Edward Norton come on, and he's like the bassist. He's like a bassist that never. It's such a good episode.
What was the band or the song? I forget.
Spandau Ballet.
One hit wonder. Oh yeah. Da, da, da.
Yeah, it was very funny. It was a very funny episode.
That's funny.
It's a good show. It's a really
such
good
a one-hit wonder that they just get to just bring in with somebody and say like, "Oh, this is the lead singer of the band," and no one can be like, "No, it's not."
Yeah. Oh, I looked up the band afterwards because I was like, "No way, there was an actual band named Spandau Ballet."
For sure, you'd know the one like song that they're popular for too.
I like that song too. It's a good song. But like when he's talking about, like, there's a scene where he's like talking about who he was in the band. He's like, "Well, I was the bassist between so and so and this guy." And when I looked up the band, like those were like the 2 like bassists that he said he was between are the only bassists that were like ever in the band. Yeah. So it's funny, they just made up like a guy who was like.
They didn't replace him. They just made something up. That's good.
Yeah, it's fucking hilarious. That whole episode is great though, because that's not even the episode I'm thinking of. Like they have a different. That's when it's their anniversary, I believe. But they have a Valentine's Day episode that's like really good too. Because they like start role playing, and it's so funny. Like,
is that the one where I've seen that one? It's like something embarrassing happens to her, right?
She gets caught. Like she takes off all of her clothes except for like a trench coat. Speak of the devil.
Oh, no, she gets stuck in it.
She gets stuck on the escalator, and everyone's just like, "Just take off your trench coat." She's like, "I can't." But like my favorite part is when she's trying to do the, like they're trying to do the like role playing, and she's like, "Oh, Clive, you're married," and like he's coming up with this whole like ridiculous persona on the spot, and she's like, "Oh, you're married, like, what is your wife gonna think?" He's like, "Who cares? She's probably at home making lists," and she's like, making lists, and then he just like starts being really mean and like talking about. Right to her face, like in the role playing gone wrong.
Yeah. Too on the nose with this role playing.
Yeah, it's a very funny episode.
Phil Dunphy's a great character.
He is.
He does the dumb dad, but in a way that still
He does the dumb dad, but they've also like in later seasons they've really made it where like he'll still be competent enough to like save the day. Like he always has like a really good speech like ready to go, that like is really sweet and like
so
not like meaningful.
That, like it makes up
Yeah.
for any dumb dadness.
Exactly, which is good because I feel like if you have that character who's just like an absolute fucking moron, like you gotta have a redeeming factor, otherwise it really wears thin.
Yeah.
It's like that one scene in like it's like there's like 2 episodes of The Office where Michael Scott actually like displays any sort of confidence, and it's like the one is where he yells at Stanley because Stanley goes like, "Did I stutter?" And then, you know, at the end of the episode, Michael just like talks to him. He's like, "You can't fucking do that." And I was like, I respect this character so much more when he's like not a complete gibbering idiot like for the whole show. Like, it's interesting to kind of get that.
Only bring it out once in a while because
it makes it more special.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like Phil, he's good. He's like he's a buffoon. He's like the dumb dad, but he's never like irredeemably like shitty. He always manages to like, especially in the later episodes, he manages to do something in the end that's redeeming. So I'm like, I don't hate this character entirely, which is, you know, if you have the dumb character, it can be really easy to like just make them border on really frustrating and annoying.
And I'm alright with writing dumb characters, but the dumb dad just wears them because it's unoriginal at this point.
Yeah, and it's like a lot of secondhand embarrassment, I feel like, is a large factor.
We have 30 seconds left, so I think we're gonna go over the timer.
Oh, Jesus.
We're not good with this timer. We're gonna get there, but it's alright. It's
10
mainly just to
minutes
keep us kind of. I put it at 15 minutes this time.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
You're kidding me! TOS. Actually, speaking of TOS, I just noticed what your rain cloud is pooping out there.
What? No, those are raindrops.
Oh, okay.
Raindrops.
They keep falling on your head?
Um,
Does that mean your eyes will soon be turning red?
Crying's not for me.
Oh, okay.
I've never stopped the rain by complaining.
Because, what does it say? Because he's free?
I don't know the rest of the words.
Yeah, me neither.
I was hurried to get the ones I knew in there so that I would be the one.
Because I kept taking them?
Yeah.
Kept biting the lyrics you knew.
This is a fun prompt.
This is a fun prompt. Do you ever have like an image like for in your head of like how the picture is gonna look, and then you give yourself only 15 minutes to make it, and you're like, this is not gonna look the way I wanted it to.
Yes, it's been happening a lot tonight. A lot of times I have a general idea, but I don't have a full plan. So my drawings kind of get figured out as I'm making them most of the time.
I usually like a lot of times I'll have like sort of an idea in my head, but when I start to try and like physically materialize it, like all of a sudden all the specifics that I felt like I knew disappear. It's like,
good starting
you know,
point,
that
good conceptual.
Yeah. It becomes very frustrating when you don't quite hit the nail on the head.
Yeah. Sometimes, like you're saying, the opposite happens where you're like, I know what I want, and you just can't make it exist.
That's I think art though is like I think everyone kind of has something in their head, and then like it's a matter of like your brain. I don't know, like unless like that fucking apple picture that I don't believe that graph where it's like how perfectly do you visualize this apple?
Yeah, I don't know how much I feel about either. That whole thing makes me sound like a lying asshole because I'm like, I can visualize an apple.
You can visualize an apple, but
no, guys, you can't. So tell me which version of this you are. And I'm like, no, I think I can visualize an apple.
Like I can visualize an apple.
Visualizing it, the more detail I can get.
Yeah, but like, if I were someone's like. I've had some people be like, oh, I can like turn the apple around and like I can like cut it in half in my brain, and I'm just like, shut the fuck up. No, you can't. Which is probably not true. Oh my god.
With an
We're
apple?
having this argument all over
Yes,
again.
we have this.
Like, okay, here's the thing. I can visualize the apple in my head. Not to relitigate this.
I'm happy to get into it. Let's go.
I can visualize the apple. I can cut it in half in my brain, but it's not like I'm looking at a TV, you know, in my head.
No.
Like it's still
I agree. I will say it's probably closer to if you have a dream and it feels very vivid to you, and then you try to go back and actually think of like the details of someone's face in the dream, it's probably not as vivid as you.
100%.
I think maybe that's probably part of it, but
I'll agree with that. Yeah.
But I feel like, generally speaking, I don't know. I feel like as an artist, and Apple's such a bad example for it because Apple is something that's just
apples are easy.
There's a lot of it's easy. There's a lot of iconography for it. You see apples a lot. It's like people associate apples with like it's like the alphabet. They use the apple to like with A. You just see apples so often that it's just like
I drew an apple in the demon birthday. Like I put it in the dude's
something
mouth.
a little more specific, I could probably be like, yeah, no, I can't really visualize that. But like an apple, like yeah, I can turn that baby around. I can split it in half. It's a pretty simple design. It's pretty much a circle with
a red circle.
If you cut it in half, it's still
bumps.
a circle, but with 2 dots in the middle. It's not that complicated of a.
I can like in my head, I can throw the apple at a statue. Like have it hit the statue.
Yeah. Apples.
Face.
Apples are pretty easy to visualize, but they're.
But if you ask me to draw the exact apple I had in my head, I would still draw like a pretty vague apple. I feel like. Because I in my head I know what an apple looks like, but the moment it's just like, okay, where are the blemishes? You know, then it's just like, I don't know, I didn't fucking imagine any blemishes on my apple. I just imagined an apple. It's like, it's like, as you said with the dreams, it's like, for me at least, I don't know about you, but you know, the moment you try to sort of solidify the details and things like that, it becomes a little bit more undefined, you know?
Right, yeah.
But like apple in my head, I can see that shit. Yeah, it's no problem. I can spin it around. I can cut it in half. I'll throw it at a statue of a guy playing discus. Greco-Roman style statue.
Ultimate discus?
Ultimate discus? Is that like ultimate frisbee?
That was the bit I was going for, yeah.
Aren't those discuses like fucking made of metal? Like they're like insanely heavy, right? Like dangerous to play with.
No, most yard games are dangerous.
This is true. You lawn darts.
I know it's more than a yard game, but Mercury Tempest says, "Are you guys familiar with aphantasia? Is this what we're talking about?"
I feel like we talked about that when we had this discussion last time. I feel like because we are rehashing a topic we talked about this before I came to Michigan before COVID.
It was on the show.
That was like around. Yeah, it was on the show. I brought it up. I posted. It's in the Discord actually. The graph I'm even talking about.
Yeah.
But what is aphantasia?
Aphantasia is the inability to visualize mental images, that is, not being able to picture something in one's mind. Many people with aphantasia are also unable to recall sounds, smells, or sensations, or touch.
So,
I feel like I'm that way in certain ways. Maybe with like smells or I don't know. I feel like as an artist, and it may be like a training thing. I train myself somewhat to take mental inventory of how things look, so that if I have to draw something real quick, I don't have to look everything up.
Right.
And I think that's maybe where I have an edge in, like, I can think of what an apple looks like, easy, like.
Yeah.
Because there's been so many times that I've gone to, there's so many times that I've gone to draw something and be like, this doesn't look fucking right, and I look it up and figure out what I was doing wrong, and then I log that away next time I'm trying to draw an apple again.
Yeah, but, I feel like, sorry, go ahead, I'll let you finish.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, but like, I'm sure there's like people who have this aphantasia, or they struggle with that even more so, obviously. Almost sounds like.
Have you ever heard of, well, I forget the name of it, it's like anosmia or something like that?
Mm-mm.
Have you ever heard of that?
No.
It's like basically, from how I understand it, you like see numbers as colors, like just your brain automatically.
I didn't know the name, but I've heard of that. Yes.
I think it's anosmia. I could be completely wrong about the name, but like,
It's weird. It's like a weird like association in your brain.
yeah, but like you can show somebody with anosmia like a fucking like bunch of numbers on a piece of paper, and throw like 14, 20, 3, 5, and then like of all those numbers say, hey, can you find a 7? Or like throw in a bunch of ones and then like that look very similar to 7 in that particular font.
Yeah.
And be like, can you find a 7? And they'll find it immediately because they're like, yeah, it's the green one.
It can go other ways too. Like people can come up with like smells for words and things like that. It's like weird, like unassociated adjectives being tied to things that normally wouldn't have those descriptors, I guess is the best way that I can think of to describe it. Like people are like, this word has a smell to it in my brain, or this number has a color tied to it, like things like that. And when people say it so confidently, I believe it's real. And it's been proven it's real. But when people say it confidently, part of me wants to be like, oh shit. And they're like,
I know.
Like, that word smells like apple pie. And I'm just like, fuck, no, it doesn't.
I was having a conversation.
It does to them, I don't know.
Yeah, I was having a conversation in high school the one time, and this is how I found out about anosmia, but like, I was talking with my one friend, and then the other friend was like, hey, above some, I don't know how anosmia even came up. They were like, you know, you see like numbers as, like basically they were saying that they had anosmia. And they were like, yeah, I see like numbers as colors. And then I was just like, I mean, I guess like one kind of feels like a red, but I didn't totally understand what they were saying. And then like, like the friend I was talking to, like started talking to this person, was just like, yeah, like 7 is like, they would both like just agree on the number of the color, and then like they just like walked away and had their conversation about having anosmia with each other, and I was just like, chopped liver. But I was like, okay,
that is one thing I will say though, people with anosmia, I guarantee it is like unique to each person.
Oh yeah, I think that.
It's not like they all meet up at anosmia conference and they're like, one is red, right? And we're all like, yeah, totally, dude. Couldn't describe it better myself. No.
Yes.
It's unique. It's unique to all of them. It's objective. It's objective to people with anosmia. There's no way.
Oh yeah, it is.
There's no way 100%. That it's like obvious once your brain clicks in the right way. Because that would.
Yeah, I think
if that was the case, that'd be like concerning. You'd be like, oh shit. So it's like.
Oh my god, they're assembling.
There's actually some like some level we're not able to read that they all can.
Yeah, instead of it being like a brain fucky thing, it's just like an actual like facet of the universe. Like, no, I think my friend was just trying to fuck, but it was just funny because I just remember like they literally just like walked away and had their conversation without me, and I was just like, okay, this is fine. We were talking.
I like to think that they got away from you and they're both like, so anosmia is not real, right? And they're like, yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah. I just wanted to get away from Ian. My God. I had to hear that guy talk for another 2 hours about King of the Hill. I thought I was going to blow my brains out.
You're like, so what does Frasier smell like?
Yeah. Oh, he smells like old cologne and a damp rag.
Trench coat.
Trench coat, yeah. If anyone smells like a trench coat, it's Niles. Even though Niles, well, yeah, no, totally Niles, because Niles is kind of like the sex pervert of the show.
Well,
although he's a very
they wore
repressed. They do. Well, Niles does. Yeah, they both wear trench coats. Yeah.
I like your rain deity. I really like the perspective you picked.
Thank you. I like yours too. I like the coloring and the line quality.
Your guy's either very focused on his work or he's just like kind of matches the mood that sometimes comes with rain.
Yeah, it's like Storm from X-Men. He's like, oh, I guess it's a light drizzle. I must be a little sad.
It'd be a bummer to be the deity of rain, but also be bummed out by rain.
I know, right?
That's a sad existence right there.
God, why do I keep doing this to myself?
I said I was gonna stop. I like rain.
I like rain, yeah. I like it when it rains the right amount.
Ruins plans.
I mean, rain's killed people. Mudslides and floods.
It's like rain on your wedding day, you know?
It's not very ironic.
No.
There's nothing ironic about that. It's just bad timing.
It's like not understanding the definition of irony.
Yeah, like I remember there's like when College Humor made videos still, they had like the song ironic, but the lyrics were changed to actually be ironic. And it was like basically the song, but then like between each line, like when they're like, it's like rain on your wedding day. If the rain was a blah 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 blah. Like that was how they would solve it. I don't remember how they made rain ironic. The only one I do remember them making ironic is the one where she's like, if you're flying, and then like the airplane crashes or whatever, and then they add on your way to a fear of flying seminar, which does make it ironic. But it's not a very ironic song. Catchy.
So I'm gonna let you finish your drawing, but I'm gonna start looking for someone we can host off to. A few people streaming right now. We got Gen V, which is
oh yeah, that's Yonan.
Yeah,
Yonan Vasquez.
Yonan Vasquez.
Creator of Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, Squee, Invaders In.
But probably doesn't need our help, but
no, he's good.
Got like 200 viewers.
He was playing just for cleanup detail, and he had like 100 people watching him like clean up fake organs. So I was just like, yeah, you're good, dude.
I Can Be Danny is on again right now.
I Can Be Danny's a lot of fun. I did call, and I think I already told you, I did call into his show. We had a good time. We had a laugh.
I don't have any other people that I follow that we're on right now.
It's a bummer because I keep checking Twitch for like artists to raid sometimes, and then like Twitch is just like, hey, do you wanna you'll probably like this artist, and that's a person just drawing like titties, and I'm like, okay, Twitch, I'm
dig down, but
try not to be horny on main Twitch.
It's like, well, the internet,
the internet thinks you're horny.
It knows how to get you to engage.
Yeah, tits.
You have some titties, and you're like, well, I wasn't planning on that, but fine. You win again, internet.
Ugh, I guess I better click.
Shucks. Right after I'm done whacking it, I'm gonna write a very angry email to Jonathan Twitch.
I'm perturbed.
If you're happy and you know it. Yeah, I don't know. One of those two would probably be good.
I mean, I have no qualms. Yonan really does not need our help. He's directed a show, a Netflix adaptation. Not to show.
I Can Be Danny again.
Throw to I Can Be Danny. I can take a quick look too, see if
I'll let you take a peek.
I wanted to add some of them.
Sorry,
Red Bull, you know, like those Red Bull commercials where they got all those extra lanes.
Yeah, I like those. I like those lines you wear. Those are some nice lines. In the meantime, thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it.
Thank you all so much.
It's some nice viewership this episode. It feels good. It makes me feel good.
Makes me feel good.
None of you drew along with us, so that makes me feel bad. No, it's good though. Thanks for tuning in. You don't have to draw along, although it's fun to draw. You should try it. It's a great time.
Just draw on your notebook paper. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, for real. And don't, we love, I'm sure whatever you make will be awesome. So you should try it sometime. And even if you don't show us, I like to think that you're at home drawing a ring.
That's right. You're there. Just don't be at home with your hand on your PP, because then I'll be like, what is it?
Are you not sex positive, Ian, towards the DrawBomb community?
Am I yucking yums right now?
You're yucking their yums. You need to knock it off.
I'm sorry, folks. I didn't mean to yuck your yums.
Yeah. Death of the artist. If our show goes out there and the people do that with it, that's their own business.
Petit Marie artiste.
Do you have anything to plug, Ian?
Gosh, there's this dumb fucking thing I do every Monday at 8 p.m. It's called DrawBomb. It's where I get this friend who I sometimes disagree with on the kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species, taxonomy, nomenclature, classifications, and sometimes just draw and we talk about stupid shit, like whether we think Bruce Willis is a dick, even though we've never met him.
We have opinions on things that we have no basis for.
Which, as we all know, is a
someone tell
great
me.
jumping off point.
Right.
It's the best jumping off point.
I hope people judge me that way.
Me too. So yeah, we do that every Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern time, standard and daylight savings. Yeah, you know, your mileage may vary on how worth your 2 hours it is, but we do it. It's fun. I like it. I like doing it. There's probably like one thing you can cancel us over per episode, probably.
Well,
and I'm sorry.
You know, at least we're aware. Also, I want to plug once again our Discord. I just threw it in the chat. Click on that link. Follow it. Get involved. I could also take that advice. I'm not on there enough, but I will be if you're there. I've just been waiting for you to join. You.
But, you know, it helps if folks. I don't want to be like on the Discord like talking to myself.
Right. Exactly.
So we need audience participation.
Get in there. We'll have a good time if you want. Also, as I mentioned earlier, Paper Bag Creative. Check it out on Instagram, Etsy. Some fun stuff to buy there. I don't think I have anything else to plug right now, but yeah. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Gosh, I you know, really appreciate all of you. This drawing is almost done, I swear to God.
It's good. I swear to rain deity. Whoa, that one blob you did looks like a raindrop, coincidentally.
It does. I'll keep it. Whoops.
Mercury Tempest says, good job, guys. Thanks for the free entertainment.
Of course, so we appreciate you, Mercury Tempest. Yeah, I mean, I'm good. I don't feel like there's anything else I can do to really ruin this drawing any further.
Before I forget.
Okay, now it's good.
Alright. She's saved. Anyways, I'm gonna play us out.
Alrighty. Oh, and I'll get us somebody to raid.